As Billy Joel once said, I'm in a New York state of mind. Hey gang, this is episode 162 of the Dorky, Geeky, Nerdy Trivia Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Rollins, and we're kicking off Season 4 of the show with the Empire State. This season will cover each of the U.S. states, starting with New York, their history, their geography, and some pop culture, just for good measure. It's still 3 rounds of 10 questions each. The only thing really new this season is the music. Once again, I've got music from Jason Shaw at audionautics.com. This season's theme music is, fittingly, Heading West. If you need rules, scorecards, or want to help support the show, visit us at dorkygeekynerdy.com. Another way you can help support the show is by dropping us a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the show. We're over 3 years into this now, and I would love if we could get some more visibility. Thanks, and now let's get to what you're really here for, the trivia. The Dorky Round. Number 1. From 1892 to 1954, millions of immigrants came through what island? Ellis Island. It's estimated that about 40% of Americans can trace their ancestry back to someone that came through there. Number 2. How many boroughs does New York City have? Five. Number 3. What current Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court is from Buffalo, New York? John Roberts. Number 4. What New Yorker was the longest-serving U.S. president? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Number 5. The 2000 World Series was called the Subway Series for what reason? It was played between the 2 New York City teams, the Mets and the Yankees. The Yankees won 4-1. Number 6. New York City is the largest city in the state and the U.S. by population. What's the second biggest city in New York State? Buffalo. Its population is only 3% of what New York City is. Number 7. Before it was the New York Colony, the area was a Dutch colony named what? New Netherland. Number 8. Most of New York's southern border is with what other U.S. state? Pennsylvania. Number 9. New York shares an international border with what 2 Canadian provinces? Ontario and Quebec. Number 10. Before he became the 26th president, who was also the 33rd governor of New York? Theodore Roosevelt. The Geeky Round. Number 1. What is the capital of New York State? Albany. Number 2. What city is the only place to have hosted the Winter Olympics twice? Lake Placid. They hosted in 1932 and 1980. Number 3. New York is the Empire State. Who called New York the seat of the empire? That'd be George Washington. Number 4. In terms of population, where does New York rank in the United States? Fourth, though for much of America's early history, it was the most populous state. Number 5. What New Yorker was both the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court as well as acting Secretary of State? John Jay. Number 6. How many NFL teams play their home games in New York State? Just one, the Buffalo Bills. The Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey. Number 7. Who is the first female governor of New York? Kathy Hochul. She took office on August 24, 2021, when Andrew Cuomo resigned. Number 8. Pride Month and Pride Marches were created initially to remember what event in New York? The Stonewall Riots of 1969. Number 9. What river runs from Lake Tear of the Clouds to New York City? The Hudson River. Number 10. New York touches which two of the Great Lakes? Ontario and Erie. The Nerdy Round. Number 1. The first railroad in the U.S. connected Albany and what other town? Schenectady. Number 2. New York City has 722 miles of what? Subway track. Number 3. Niagara Reservation became the first what in the U.S.? It's the first state park. Number 4. New York borders how many other U.S. states? Five. Number 5. New York State is the birthplace of 5 U.S. presidents. Who was the first New Yorker to become a U.S. president? Martin Van Buren. He was born in Kinderhook, New York. Number 6, born Walden Robert Casoto, what New Yorker sold over 1 million singles of the 1958 song Splish Splash? Bobby Darin. Number 7, the prestigious Columbia University was founded under what name in 1754? King's College. Number 8, rounded to the nearest million, how many people reside in New York City as of 2020? $9 million. The last census had the city's population at 8,804,190. Number 9. What 2 Native American tribal nations dominated New York State prior to European colonization? The Iroquoian and the Algonquian. Number 10. What New York governor and later U.S. Secretary of State was responsible for adding Alaska to the United States? William H. Seward. And that's it for our first episode of Season 4. I hope you like this season-long theme we're doing here. I think it'll be fun. If you're a New Yorker, give me a shout out on Facebook or Twitter. Let me know what I missed about your home state. I know you all aren't shy. I've never been to New York, but I'm a huge history and theater nerd, so it calls to me. Let me know your must-visit places. Also, remember to pay attention to the order of the episodes this season. They aren't random. See if you can spot the criteria I used for their order. I'll see you back here next Wednesday. And here's your clue. What U.S. state was founded as a colony by George Calvert in the early 17th century? Unlike New York, it's a state I've actually visited and found it quite charming. This has been episode 162 of the Dorky, Geeky, Nerdy Trivia Podcast. The music has been by Jason Shaw at audionautics.com. I'm your host, Brian Rollins. You can find me at thevoicesinmyhead.com. Thanks for listening. 'Tis the season to be podcasting. Stay inside with a warm beverage and a hot microphone. If you're interested, Spotify can help you out. They've got a platform that lets you make one, distribute it, and earn money, all in one place, for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So you've already got the equipment necessary to start recording today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple, Google, and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are an excellent way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Best of all, it's completely free. I switched Dorky, Geeky, Nerdy over to Spotify for Podcasters, and I haven't regretted it. The analytics are fantastic, and the new tools for hosting and updating the feed are way more than I could do self-hosting. Now, it's your turn. Head to podcasters.spotify.com and read all about it. Then, let me know what you're podcasting all about. Tyler has a problem. He can't inherit his massive family fortune unless he gets married. And when his best friend Glenn proposes, hijinks and shenanigans ensue. Follow Glenn and Tyler on their world-spanning adventure as they defeat mobsters, an evil stepmother, a rakish brother-in-law, and pirates. No, really, there are pirates. Plus, there's an underground super base. And hockey. The 5-book series begins with Glenn and Tyler's honeymoon adventure by J.B. Sanders and narrated by Brian Rollins. Available now on Audible and iTunes. Come for the romance, stay for the hockey.